Time to take a look at the papers that are local to where you are. With us is Craig Archer, who's from the Tameside Advertiser. Hello, Craig.
Hello.
Now, front page story on your paper this week. It's about hospitals, I believe.
Yeah, bad news really for our local hospital. It's come out as a bad report from Dr. Foster. One of the worst hospitals in the country for patient safety.
Which
apparently.
hospital is this?
Tameside Hospital.
Tameside, yeah.
4 out of 100 it's scored.
Yeah.
I suppose you can imagine it's left a lot of people quite worried, that.
Yeah, Dr. Foster are the people who examine and independently assess hospitals, part NHS funded, part private, and it got a good, I think, in the Quality Care Commission. So at one point, some organisation was telling us it was a good hospital.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Dr. Foster is telling us it's appalling, which we have reported. But as is the way with local papers, people have been in touch with you about this, haven't they? That's the nice thing about the local papers. The readers get involved.
I mean, we get lots of correspondence on the hospital anyway, but particularly on this subject, feelings are running high. So we've got a few letters. I've got a couple here. One's totally against David Hayes, who's one of the MPs who's spoken out about the hospital, saying he should have said something before. And we've got another one questioning Dr. Foster and saying, is it a money-making organisation? Is it valid?
It's about people that have trouble knowing who to believe these days.
Absolutely.
So, an MP will tell you one thing, the NHS Trust will tell you another, Dr. Foster will tell you another.
But I think anything that sort of highlights that the death rate is the 3rd highest in the country, they tend to be the statistics people believe.
Yes.
The scaremongering ones, which are unfortunately the ones that are highlighted in your paper.
And people are worried, and briefly, one letter talks about, elderly people perhaps being scared of going to hospital because of this report, so... Well, it's quite worrying.
It's brought a few MPs together to have a lot about it. I mean, that's in Tameside. It's also in the Glossop Advertiser, because Tameside Hospital serves the Glossop area as well.
I have to say, finally, that the hospital have totally come out against this report and said it's a load of rubbish, so...
Yeah.
They kind of would, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course.
But, they're saying that, they remain committed to patient safety and patient care and so on and so forth.
Significant improvements, they're saying,
They have, in fairness to Tameside Hospital. They've pulled their socks up a bit. They were criticised a lot over the last few years for MRSA, and they've pulled their socks up quite a lot. But anyway, it's good to keep them on their toes.
Yeah. One that's caught my eye, Craig, and yours as well, is the North East Manchester Advertiser about taxis.
This is a brilliant story.
This is a great one.
Brilliant story. Yeah, but there's been lots of stories in the news about bogus cabbies and people worried about jumping into taxis, wondering, if they're safe, etc. And this guy in Cheetham Hills come up with a brilliant idea whereby when you book a taxi, he actually sends you on your mobile phone a picture of the driver. So when the driver turns up, you've got the right guy.
That's a...
It's
obvious and brilliant idea, that, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
And I mean, obviously, that's as a woman who books taxis, that's great. But also, they go on to say teenagers with parents booking.
I've got kids who are going out now. They're getting towards 16, 17, going out over Christmas. You want to know that the guy who's picking them up is the guy who's supposed to be picking them up.
Absolutely, it's a great idea, and I must think it's going to take off. To be honest,
do you think other people will jump on the back of it?
Possibly, but I mean, he seems to have cornered the market at the moment. He's renaming his firm, and he's got this number where you text to, and he sends you a picture of the driver.
I think the other thing that I read in there is that you can send the driver a picture of you, as it were, so the driver knows who to look out for.
Absolutely.
Because you people outside the print works or somewhere like that in Central Manchester or a busy bar or club, there's loads of people, so the driver knows who to look for, you know who to look for.
Absolutely.
Everybody's safe, everybody's happy. I think that's a terrific story. One that's not so terrific, the story of the Southern Cemetery desecration that you want to talk about. Is this the South Manchester Reporter? Yeah,
this is quite worrying, actually. It's happened a couple of times, but there have been 20 graves damaged. I think Channel M covered this story.
Yeah, we did.
We have.
20 graves damaged at the cemetery, Muslim graves, and very worrying. But there's a positive spin to it, because the cross-party, sort of cross-religion group have turned up to hold a kind of...
A vigil.
Vigil, vigil, that's the word I'm looking for, at the cemetery. So, hopefully the message will get across that it's not wanted, it's not needed.
And unacceptable. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to police. A cemetery has to be accessible. You can't lock it up, you can't put CCTV in there. You don't want to think that people will behave the way they do, but sadly they do. But if all the faiths come together and say, we all say, this is not good, I suppose that's, as you say, a positive thing to come out of it otherwise. Yeah. An otherwise very unpleasant thing.
Indeed, and it's, as you say, it's difficult to police. You can't have police officers at a cemetery all night.
No.
It's just not right. So you're hoping it's going to stop.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for bringing those stories to our attention.
Just a few of those stories in your local weekly papers, and terrific they are.